Hey, everybody. Um, Good to see you. If you can hear me, let me know. Looks good. Mic's a little bit further from my mouth than usual. I'm a little closer to the camera than usual. Um, Hopefully this all works out. Maybe I should boost myself a little bit. No, it sounds good. Looks good. All right. So if you've not seen a Box Peak Live Q&A, here's what we do. I show you a video, some behind the scenes stuff. First, I have like a little presentation planned for you, and then you sound a bit sick. I am a bit sick. Then we take your questions for about an hour. We'll do about an hour. I think no one else is scheduled to stream, so we don't have to worry about other things. So, let's get into my presentational things. We'll switch to this cam right here. This week's video has some audio. So, for the video itself, I didn't have too many deleted scenes this week. Not too many mistakes. From the footage I had, everything went pretty smoothly. So everything's good that way. So let me just show you what we have here. Oh, okay. So I wanted to show you what I mean by when I last week we saw the strings, we saw like a couple of shots composited together, and I want to show you why we do that. So in this week's episode, Tukwai Togen has to say lines within his box, and that is something I didn't think about when I just had the boxes on strings before, right? Like, it works for dropping the boxes, but if someone is in their box while peeking, delivering lines, I can't just like shake the string on the top of the lid. So for episode 3, these boxes are suspended in the air from basically popsicle sticks, very thin popsicle sticks, and then I had to bring the characters underneath. So that presented a problem. I'll show you what I tried to do, both things at the same time, and here's what it looks like. Look real sloppy, right? I couldn't use that. This one's close, but still that looked a little too sloppy. So here's what I do. I do, basically, to make that scene happen, 3 different takes. So we'll look at the first one. This is the Jordy take. Boop. That's the Tukwai take. Boop. And there's the peak ref take. Oh, go! And so then all 3 together looks like this. And basically, pretty seamless, I gotta say. You can see a line to the right of the peak ref. You can totally see a shaded line where those 2 shots are composited. But yeah, generally, I think that, you know, if you're not looking for it, yeah, you can see the line between Jordy and Tukwai's box too. You can totally see that line. They're not, you know, lit exactly alike, but generally the illusion works. Boom. And that's how we do that. Yeah, so when I need to move multiple characters at once, I'll do that kind of thing, especially if it's a peak ref from above and characters from below. That's kind of just impossible to do. Next thing I want to show you is, so, you know, I've finished 5 episodes, right? But each Sunday I find myself going back to the episode I'm about to show you and tinkering with it a little bit. And I want to show you an example of decisions I make just based off of like making jokes work. And so the final joke, hello, mother. This line, Nulian. I felt like it needed a musical cue to punctuate it. I need you to burn all my Chegduff stuff. So I did that, and I came back to it, and here's what it was like at first. No, I need to click in here, I guess. Sorry. There we go. Here's what it was like at first.
Hello, Mother. I need you to burn all my Chegduff stuff.
So that kind of just like boom, 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 do. I think it's kind of funny to sell a joke, you know? But I like wasn't feeling it, you know what I mean? It felt out of the theme of the show. It felt like it was some other show's joke, you know what I mean? To do that kind of silly tag. So next I tried this.
Hello, Mother. I need you to burn all my Chegduff stuff.
So this one I really like a lot. It's like Lost like, you know. I think it's super funny. However, I think that it maybe oversells the joke, and I worried that the audience would assume that there's something more to that, right? That Chegduff stuff will matter later on. When no, it's just a joke to end the scene, you know. And so I didn't want to give it that weight to confuse the audience. And so yeah, then we ended up with this.
Hello, Mother. I need you to burn all my Chegduff stuff.
And so here it's funny. The end credits actually punctuate the joke. The end credits come in and say joke's over, and I think that actually works. It's something you can't write. It's something I didn't expect until I simply just pulled out the music, and I was like, man, that kind of works. So I really like that. I just an example. That stuff takes forever. I spent a lot of time on things like that, finding the right musical cues and sound effects and things like that. Oh yeah, you know what? Now's a good time to talk about Chegduff, who is Chegduff is the bonus sticker that comes with the Geordie shirt. You get your own Chegduff sticker. Actually, hold on. Let me go on the big cam. You get a sticker of Chegduff. And I love this. Come on, autofocus. Not on me. Not on me on this thing. Yeah, there you go, dude. There you go. Not on me. Oops, I made another mess. Basically, what Noah asked for when he said, send me some designs for stickers. Noah's my friend from Fangamer. He said, send me something that would exist within... It was almost a Button's voice. Yeah, send me a thing that would... sticker that would exist within the world of Box Peak. So I sent 4 things. Actually, maybe I can pull that up real quick. Let's do that real quick. Real quick. Real quick. I want to show you the design that I sent to them and then how good what they sent to me back is. I totally forgot I wanted this as part of the presentation. And then I can just drag you in here. No, but can I drag you to here and then to here? Oh yeah, so nice. So this is what I sent. Chegduff, like a super gross version of Garfield. That was the illustration that I sent to Fangamer, and then this was the result. I can't love it more. I almost like this more than the shirt. This sick little Chegduff sticker, you gotta be kidding me. Like adding just like the brown grossness around his lips without even knowing he's the kind of guy who dips his tail into the principal's cream of mushroom soup. It's just like we were on the same page just from saying gross Garfield. Like a super gross version of Garfield. Love it. Love the color chosen. Yeah, Fangamer is real good. And so, yeah, when I said it was like a joke spoiler, please do not expect Chegduff to matter in the world of Box Peak. Basically, it was simply something to be interrupted. And what's really funny is the script, the punchline there originally was, shut up, Nulian, shut up. I hate Chegduff. She walks away, pause, and then Nulian just says, Chegduff is funny. Which was funny, and Ben delivered that line in a funny way. However, basically that would have been 3 Box Peak scenes by the end of episode 3 that end with somebody walking away and then the other person murmuring to themselves. Because there was, I hate you, Sean, last week, and this week, you'll see, you will be my friends. So I'm like, I can't do that 3 times in 3 episodes. So then I came up with the idea of him calling his mom and saying, I need you to burn all my Chegduff stuff, excuse me. Which is also kind of funny because it plays into his extreme loyalty to Takia Chill, right? That like he clearly loves Chegduff, but like if she hates Chegduff, he's gonna have to burn all that stuff. And it's pretty clear that at his mom's house, he has a lot of Chegduff stuff. She had to burn this little sticker. Okay. Last time you asked me to prepare some the concept art to actually scan it in instead of just showing it to you like this. So I do have some of that. What order do we do it in? No, that's like one of the last things. Okay, so this is me like trying to figure out what everyone looks like. Obviously, Takia chills in the opening, so I kind of like had an idea of where that was, but I was like trying to figure out if she like has like shoulder things or like a cape. Really wanted to have her for a cape for a long time. Trying to figure out what the Ross family looks like. I like I like the little nose ring here. Oh, I guess you can't see my cursor. Yeah, trying out a nose ring, trying things out. That's I think an early illustration of what Chegduff might look like. Early Nulian. It looks like he had that kind of like shawl thing for a long time. I like the facial hair. It's gross. And then this is me trying out eyebrows for Takia, trying to see like what kind of like how cool the eyebrows could be with just the dots and stupid mouths. Just trying mouths out. So you can see like if it's a character that, oh, you don't need that thing in the background anymore. Boop. If it's a character that like I think is gonna like be complicated, right? Like everybody in the boardroom from last episode was like I drew them once and that was it, right? But if I'm doing multiple drawings of somebody, I want to kind of get down to style. And this is me trying to figure out the more complicated shots. Again, these are just, look, I was trying to get Chegduff down. Yeah, it's funny. I didn't realize that I like nailed down the little Nulian shawl so early. So this is like in the column here, you can kind of see the shots of them looking at the characters. They're kind of wider than what I went with, just because it was actually hard to do shots that wide. And then the kitchen shots, I was like, how am I even like gonna do the kitchen? And a lot of that kind of translated, but I didn't have quite it figured out. Yeah, you see the shot of like behind his shoulder into the fridge. Couldn't pull that off. The close-ups. I should have done the finger. We are not moving. We are not. Totally forgot about it. Or maybe it was just too complicated. Still don't have the look of Chegduff down. Oh, another idea I had. And this is another example of you can't let a joke ruin your entire world. Was, shut up, Nulian, shut up. I hate Chegduff. Walks away. And then Nulian looks down at this large cat and says, Chegduff, that means you gotta go. And he says, okay. So I almost did that. I almost had a talking Chegduff be a part of this world, which would have been very funny, but would have sold out the world, right? You can't ruin your world just for one dumb joke. Almost did it. Here's me really, like, this is interesting because I almost never do this. This is just a piece of paper. But they are to scale. You can see they have the same round head, so I'm just trying to figure out what the actual puppets will look like, how to make it look like Kazomi's looking down at a phone. You bend their eyes down a little bit in an interesting way. That right Kazomi I hate big time. Look, that's just what happens if you make their eyes too big. Still trying out facial hair on Nulian, but this you can see nailing down the triangular glasses there, which I like a lot. And then, yeah, trying to get the smirk of, oh, you just said what your favorite food is. That right there in the lower right-hand corner. That's Tukwai. So this is kind of cool. This is me trying to figure out what the shots will actually look like. And what I would like about this one in the lower right is that's actually what I built. That is the kitchen right there. And so we talked about last week's episode in that I realized how cool the boardroom looked once I turned the camera and we had a wall and we had a corner. And this was not the plan for episode 3 when I wrote it, right? But then like I was like, I could do that. I can actually make the kitchen. And so a lot of that actually translated. You see the plates above the fridge. You see the cupboards where the cupboards are, the sink where the sink is. I think that fork and spoon made it in. There's a painting that didn't make it there because the walls actually had to be wider than pictured. But yeah, that's kind of like as much as I do to design a set. And yeah, in the upper left, you can see like, how do I make this diner shot work? That was obviously the hardest thing. And then, yeah, the colors you see there, that is me practicing colors. Like, what do I do for this thing? What do I do for this thing? And so, yeah, there's a lot of cool, really cool pieces of paper I throw away that have a lot of really nice colors on them. Cool. And then finally, I want to show you a couple of puppets. I want to show you a version excuse me, some puppets that I throw away. And this one I forgot about this. I wanted to show you this from last week. Actually, let's start with these. These are the oldest. I wanted to show you these too. Okay, sorry. Okay, so this is the first ever in box peak drawing I made of Jordy. This was him falling. He falls from the boat, right? This is like this, that's his perfect size head, right? And so like you see this for like one frame, it's just like poof, right? Spent too much time on it. This is perfect scale Jordy. So like I like the scale of this Jordy, but like if he stood tall, he'd still be like a foot shorter than regular Jordy, right? He's like too small. And so that's the importance of perfect scale Jordy. That's why he's so clutch, is that you would end up with like tiny little Jordies like that. On the other side, this CD, oh, really small right now? You're right, I can go to cam. This CD is from last week's episode. He's like, next year on Big Crush Island, right? This CD will never be used again. He's so off model. I hate that it's focusing on my face. Stop it. Stop focusing on my face. Focus on this thing. Focus on him. It's on autofocus. So I hate how skinny he is. I don't like his face there. His arms are way too long. And so like you will never see this version of CD again. He delivered that one line and then goes to the trash. I don't like it. I don't like it. Sorry, I forgot Victor's wife's name already. What is it? All right, kids. Victor, is that you? Yes, I was just gonna make a sandwich. Amy. Yep, Amy. Thanks, chat. You're better at that than I am. There's a drawing of Amy that I didn't use as well, and I shot it and everything. It's this one. It's overly concerned Amy. This is did you get knocked down to vanilla tier or whatever? Strawberry tier. Did you get knocked down to strawberry tier? Because he lost his vanilla benefits. She looks too concerned. She looks like she's giving up. I think her boobs should be more squished. I don't know. It's weird that her arms just like fold around her boobs like that. But more than anything, it's like they're a little stronger delivered with this face on it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. It's like oh, excuse me. I might have to blow my nose again. Yeah, I'll just do that right now. I'll be right back, chat. I don't want to blow. Little sick. It's like your nose, like you blow your nose and then it makes like tiny little raptor noises. Okay. So that's basically all I want to show you. Let us open it up to the live Q&A. Let's do that, and then let's do that in the background. So if you want to ask me a question, please at Easy Allies in it, because that highlights it for me in chat. It makes it easier for me to find. We have 2 rules. Let me find my rules. Here we go. Rule number 1, keep it about Box Peak. Rule number 2, don't ask about future episodes. At Easy Allies, Kyle, why the depressing family situation? Just this kind of thing. It's I want to explore the world, right? That was one of my only first. Oops, is that making noise? I think I might have to mute it. No, it's not. Okay. My first goal was not to, make a show exactly like Pokemon, but explore the world of a Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh, right? And I think about the adults in these worlds who get beaten by the kids. And so, I wanted to, why is this one in 60 FPS? I don't know. Are the other ones not? Good to know if that's the case. I think it looks better on here than it does on YouTube, to be honest. Excuse me. Excuse me. That was a goober. Found myself a goober live on camera. What do you do with a goober? You just gotta mute yourself and run away. Got a cough drop. We'll be good. Sorry, what were you talking about? Oh, you were talking about why the depressing family scene? Yeah, it's just me exploring the space, exploring the world, thinking about what would be happening to the people of a world where everybody loves this one silly game. How do you cut the complicated silhouettes like food? X-Acto knives. I have 2 X-Acto knives, and I have this cool thing where it's like, it's an X-Acto knife blade container. And so, like, the second it gets dull, throw it away. You just put it in the container and draw out a new one. X-Acto knives are so clutch. This paper that I use, this kind of thin cardstock, works really well with them. As you can see, like, you can cut out some pretty, like, particular shapes. And so, yeah, I love X-Acto knives big time. Can boxes be summoned at all times outside of a match? It's implied. Hold on, you can see why it's implied. If we cut back to the fridge, yeah, you can see a little drawing right behind Victor of Courtney inside of his box, right? And it's like a kind of like a little cute thing. And so, yeah, it's implied that, yeah, you can summon your boxes in a non-competitive scene. Yeah, Kazomi is definitely a GT era holdover. I have a weird policy about like inside jokes in Box Peak, you know what I mean? I don't want to do a lot of references. If there are references, I want them to come out naturally, you know what I mean? I love the name Kazomi, and so I just went with it, you know what I mean? To me, it wasn't obtuse. It's not like something you're missing out on, and you don't like feel like you're missing out on it. That's the thing I like the least. It's like a joke that's simply not funny to you, but it's like, it's funny if you watch that stream back at Game Trailers. Kazomi is just a name I like. I think it fits the character. What's funny is originally in the script, CD has a longer line at the top of the scene. He goes, hey, Jordy, finally got some oil for my box and won't squeak anymore. Had to walk all the way up to this old guy's garage. And so I was making a grandpa oil reference. That was obtuse. The walking all the way up to an old guy's garage is like, to a new viewer, like, what? So I didn't want to do like a grandpa oil reference. I cut that short. So, it's a good example. Also, you don't want to do 2 inside references back to back. But yeah, I mean, Takia yelling at the peak ref, we don't want you around anymore. Also, to me, that's not obtuse. That's kind of a natural, smooth into a reference that I like. I like that line. And so I think it works both ways. It's kind of my policy. What went in your mind when you typed, whoa, mama? Well, that's what kids say. Whoa, mama. I don't know. It's a really big score, you know? The guy had a lot of points. Are there friendly unranked matches of Box Peak, or are there always points on the line? Don't ask about future episodes. When did you come up with the name Chegduff? When I needed a joke. It's like I just needed something for Nulian to be talking about for Takia to interrupt, right? I needed him to be excited about something, and so I don't know. Chegduff to me, it's like it is like a gross version of Garfield and Heathcliff, right? To put together, it's more like Heathcliff than anything. So yeah, to me, Chegduff is exactly what it's meant to be. Just it's a gross, bad name, and so you just imagine this awful cat who dips his tail in the principal's cream of mushroom soup. What's really funny is the line on, "What are you gonna do about my dirty tail now?" What I have the voice actors do when they're about to be interrupted is follow through on the line. And so I asked Ben to just say like, hey, Ben, just keep going on that line. Don't like interrupt yourself. Just keep going on it. And so that the rest of that line was improvised. I think what's in the script is, and Chegduff says, and then he gets interrupted. But what are you going to do about my dirty tail now is so funny that I had to keep all of that in. And then she says, Nulian, I sensed something strange in the park early today. What? How do you decide between the balance of main character scenes and side character scenes? Um, Whatever I'm interested in. I really like that scene where Victor goes home. I love that scene. And so if it feels too long, I do cut some lines out of it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, well, maybe we shouldn't spend this much time on Victor. But generally, yeah, it's whatever interests me. Is a medium like Pokemon, the game of course, feasible in Box Peak, or is Box Peak the sole form of entertainment in this world? What? Don't ask about future episodes. What are the naming conventions for the characters? I just wanted like weird names. I think very few people have a name that you've seen in real life. Victor totally is a name you've seen in real life, and then all of his kids have normal names. So I think you know that they're not Box Peak competitors. The people who do compete have really cool names like Tukwai Togen and Takia Chill. And so I think that is how we basically communicate that to you is if this person has a cool name, they're probably like in the scene. And if they're not, they're probably just outside of the realm. Jordy is a male. How many popsicle sticks have you used for Box Peak, and did you just buy them? Oh yeah, you can just buy them. You just go to Michael's. I have all sorts of popsicle sticks. Short ones, long ones, thin ones, hundreds of them. You run out way faster than you think you would. I've bought a lot of popsicle sticks. Yeah, and I mean, I think that comes from like middle school, you know what I mean? It comes from like lots of arts and crafts. I feel like I have a deep history of arts and crafts, and popsicle sticks is just like one of those necessary things. You saw pipe cleaners in episode 1 that I cut out of from that. Like, what adult even knows to look for pipe cleaners anymore? But yeah, I a lot of this is just based off of the stuff that I did in middle school. Did you always intend to have the tiers play into things like healthcare of the world? Yes. So another thing I think about is like in a world of Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh, they don't seem to have sponsors, and so I wonder how they make money. You know what I mean? And so I think I like this idea that the league incentivizes going up in tiers so that it wants you to be competitors. This bums me out. I spent a lot of time on those posters, and you only see the word cheap, and you cannot read the one behind Jordy, which says "shake it on," which I think is a really funny phrase. So it's a big old shake, and it says "shake it on." How do you shoot the dark shots inside the box? Those are tricky because you definitely lose video quality there every time. Basically, it's simply 4 walls, and it's kind of exaggerated. So it's basically like an inside of a box, but like they're not 90-degree angles; they're more like 45. And so it's basically suspended by 2 popsicle sticks. I add a layer of darkness on top of it, and especially the night scenes. The night scene was shot with the exact same amount of color as the rest of the episode, but I just add a layer of darkness on top of it to kind of make it look like it's later. I tried really hard to make it look like a sunset. Couldn't make it happen. Couldn't make it realistic. Hardest shot of the episode is definitely everything that happens in that restaurant, in that fast food restaurant. That stuff was so hard because anytime you have something in front of and behind the character, I have to really squeeze in. And I think this way I had, especially with Jordy and Kazomi sitting next to each other, 2 super long poles that I was kind of just wiggling like this, hoping for the characters on this end to puppeteer correctly. And so I did that one first. I knew that would take super long, just setting up the food, setting up the tables, setting up the way the walls work with perspective-wise. Then the next hardest scene was definitely the kitchen, and maybe that was even harder, just to set up the perspectives correctly, the stupid fridge that opens out of the wall, the wallpaper behind the door that Amy has to walk through, setting up the island, and then making sure the shots kind of work. And obviously we kind of cheat the way a lot of like dramas do in terms of space in between. Yeah, this was actually super hard to do. And then yeah, they look closer to each other in their close-ups than they are actually in real life. A lot of TV shows will do that. Just how you got to make things happen. I didn't want them to be overlapping the kids too much in the wide. Why did you decide to introduce so many characters in this episode? Basically, episode 3, we're getting the ball rolling, baby. I felt like episode 2 was slow for a purpose, but episode 2 is too slow. We introduce 0 new characters in episode 2. Oh no, we have the whole boardroom scene, I guess, but it's like I've already written all these characters and I want to drop them in. You know what I mean? And so yeah, the reason they're all here in episode 3 is like I wanted them in as soon as possible. Because of, we got a whole series here. Hi, Kyle. The humor in Box Peak and your humor in general reminds me of a comedian, Dimitri Martin. Is he an influence at all? I think he was. Like, during college, I was like, man, I want to do stuff like he does. But I don't know if he's done anything narratively. I wouldn't say he's an influence. I wouldn't say that, like, man, yeah, all I remember is, like, he had really great charts. I don't really remember like any of his jokes too much. I think he had musical jokes too, right? He would do songs. But no, I wasn't like a huge fan of his, but I do remember being like, man, this guy's good stuff. I would have liked to see more hand animations during the family scene. And it's not going to happen much more. They're hard. The hand animations are super, super hard because I have shaky hands. And so to like give a character like what you see in Victor when he's like, tell them the truth in episode 1 is like that's 2 shots put together where I wasn't shaky enough. There it is. I was looking for that shot. That shot is composited poorly. I couldn't find it. I was looking for that very shot. You can see 2 poles for the peak ref on the top of that scene. Couldn't find it last night. That's whatever. Last was second. Do you see your love of bonus bits manifesting in the way you end your scenes? Yeah. Big time. Yeah, I knew any series that I'm ever writing is going to have extensive bonus bits. And in the case of Box Peak, I think in episode 3, it's like the bonus bits are essential. They're no longer bonus. Like you have to see those to get everything. If people leave early, I'm not even mad. But like some of my favorite stuff is going to happen after the credits. How did you do the zoom into the smile there? Let me see if I can like pull it up. I won't. It's basically the camera I have is sick. The camera I have can like zoom into your pupil. It can zoom into like a speck on your fingernail. And that's the reason why I wanted that lens, and that lens was so expensive but extremely worth it. What I did was I had 2 black pieces of paper, and what I got was they're really cool. They've helped out a lot. They're little like Hot Wheels Minecraft carts, and so they are just squares with 4 wheels, and they slide really well, and you can tape things to them really well. And so I had 2 diagonal pieces of paper onto 1 Minecraft cart each, and then I slid it apart and then I slid it in, and then I did a lot of takes of that. This is actually one of the worst takes. The 2 pieces of paper slide in at different points. But it is one of the best takes of just getting his smile. And I actually did reshoots twice for that shot. But I forgot how important it is to get the right angle on his smile. And so I just like the one that appeared in there. Speaking of bonus bits, oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. Kyle, let me rest. Oh man, yeah, you're moving fast, chat. Hold on. Was Gold is Good intentionally influenced by Green is Good? No, that was not an intentional reference. May have written that before Green is Good. Why do you use paperclip material or metal wire on the peak ref? Control. It is metal wire. It's, the kind of thing that comes in a spool. I just like the control over it. If it was just a string, he'd be waving side to side a lot. and just bobbling a lot. And so basically, I mean, it still wiggles way too much, but I like the control that a metal wire gives the P-Graph. You can kind of, yeah, at least there you get that kind of, yeah, it's all for control. It's all for, so you can animate it better. Togen has a big old smear on his ear at the end of the episode. It's not a question. Yes, he does. I don't care. I tried recently I tried whiteout. Whiteout looks bad. You just keep the smears. Is Takia wearing a headpiece or is her hair segmented? That's all hair. Glue or tape? There's some glue, mostly tape, so I can undo it. There's tape on the P-Graph. There's tape on every character who's taped to a popsicle stick. Glue is there when it's necessary, when I need things to stay together. But even, the food on the table at the fast food restaurant, that's all taped. P-Graph is male? No, P-Graph has no gender. Sorry, that's on me. I love the P-Graph taking off sound effect. Is it a match being lit? It's a couple of sounds. It's a lighter getting sparked, and then like a jet sound. I think maybe one other layered on top of that. But yeah, I like to layer a couple of sounds. So yeah, it's the sound of a lighter going. Will having a studio make Box Peak production easier? Or would you keep it at home? I would definitely keep it at home. What age would you rate Box Peak at? I have a 3 and 4-year-old. 30. Have you used glue tape? I swear by it for my own crafts. No. What is glue tape? Is this something I have to look at Michael's? What lenses do you use? I'll have to go look at it. I'll have to go look at it and scream at you. I frankly don't know. Okay, so it says FE 2.8/90 macro G OSS. I don't know if you caught any of that. It is what I just went to Sammy's camera and I said, I need extreme close-ups. And they're like, okay, I mean, this one should be good. And I said, no, I mean extreme. And so basically I had to show basically what I was talking about with my fingers. And she's like, oh, well, I mean, you're going to need this big honking thing. And it's a huge lens. And it is everything I need. I never take it off anymore. I used it a couple of times in the opening of episode 1, in the intro credits, but then I never take that thing off. I just love that lens so much, and I love it because it can just zoom in on my tiny, tiny drawings and pick up tiny little details. Why Takia minus 300 points and Victor minus 500? Does he say 300? Excuse me, does it say 300 points? I thought it says 500. Or I thought she interrupts it before it even gets to deductions. If that's the case, if it's 300 and 500, that's an accidental. Takia got minus 500. Okay, no, it's the same. With Jordy's and CD's relationship being altered following audience reaction, are you taking that into account with the back 5? We'll see. We'll see. It's basically I put it together and see how it plays out. There's no that episode 2 ended with a cheap joke, but I don't think it'll really affect anything in the back 5. However, I do love that Chegduff illustration so much that I kind of want to I won't, but I want to add more Chegduff. Maybe I'll just make Chegduff its own thing. Man, I love that sticker. I love how Amanda's doing voices. Do you make it part of a joke? Or is everything a pure budget issue? Yeah, sorry, I saw another one up there, another question of why don't you bring in more female voice actors? So, yeah, basically part of the low budge charm of Box Peak, you know what I mean? The reason why it's okay for there to be blotches on ears is, it's just me putting it together and it's just Easy Allies doing the voice acting. And so I wanted to keep it Easy Allies doing the voice acting. Amanda's a huge cheat, right? Because she's a professional and extremely good. But I feel like the more voice actors you pull in, the higher the expectations become on the voice acting. And so when we have the rest of Easy Allies compared to the actual voice actors, I think you break your own rules. I lose some of the charm. And so it's kind of this thing where, like, if we did bring in people who are good, we should replace the people who aren't and things like that. And honestly, I think like Amanda's really good. And so that's that kind of thing. The lanyard on her neck, yeah, she is a teacher. She's a teacher at the jet ski school. And so, yeah, I want you to think she's a regular teacher. I want you to think she's like some regular thing. And then you don't realize that it is a jet ski school that she works at until she says, I think we can get you a job at the jet ski school. Victor's earring. Did he have it from the first sketch? Or did it come in later alongside the bald spot? I think he had the earring before the bald spot. And I was thinking about that bald spot. I think it exists only because we have that shot, like, well, shoot, it's, you know, it's this. And I wanted to make it clear that he's like, it helped give you perspective on which way he was looking. I think the bald spot wasn't there until I made that first drawing. At what age do you think Victor himself decided on the earring? Same time as his son? No, his son, in my mind, got it after his dad did. You know, he's like, I want a cool earring like dad. The son clearly looks up to his dad. Will Sophie voice Chegduff? No, Chegduff can talk. He says, what are you going to do about my dirty tail now? Target episode length is 10 episodes, and it makes me so happy that we are under, so far, every single episode. If I can be under 10, I'm extremely happy. There's some specific logo on that coffee mug in the kitchen scene. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, I think it's like a school. I think there's one mug that just has the same yellow square that you see on CD's jacket. And then I think there's one that implies some sort of school. I wish I could like pause the videos within OBS. That part's annoying. But yeah, the mugs I try to, you know, in tiny, tiny ways, fill out the world whenever possible, you know? Was cream of mushroom chosen for humor in the wordiness and grossness? Like cream of mushroom soup is a gross soup, and then to have a cat's tail in it is disgusting to me. That's comedy, baby. Have you ever thought of a smartphone game of box peek? Connect your phone with a friend and summon your box and start peeking. Would be really cool. No, I don't think that would be really cool. Because basically, people ask us a lot, honestly. Like, you know, would it ever be a cool game? And then I think like the point is that box peek isn't a cool game, right? Like this episode was about like air jars and Jordy being tempted by the scent, and like there's no way to translate that into a game in my mind. And it's just, you know, I have 100 ideas for video games, and like box peek is not one of them. You know, I would not ever want to make a box peek video game because I have a 30 better ideas. I saw Phantom NK ask a question. Phantom NK, by the way, made the theme song and also the cool remix you hear before the premieres. What is the name of the dinosaur on the shirt? No name. To me, it's not even like a thing he's a fan of. I think it's just like a cool shirt that was at Target or Walmart, you know. I don't think that dino has a huge significance. Check the dollar store for glue tape. It will change your life. Okay. Is it like double-sided tape? Because I do use a lot of double-sided tape. There are often 3 or more characters in a shot. When a character is at rest and you are not holding them, how do they not fall over? Excellent question. I use thick clips. Let me grab one of the thick clips. I'll grab one for you. Where'd my thick clips go? Dang it! Oh, there. Okay, they're over there. Hold on, Tap. These are an essential tool of box peak. Yes, it should be thick with 2 C's. Let me go there. Okay. They look like this. So, oh, and here, check it out. I found the inside of a box. Here's the interior of a box. Boom. So, you attach the thick clip to the popsicle stick, like this, and then you just bring these 2 sides up, and then it can rest on a table. This is like the most essential. These things, I bought so many of. They are like, for every popsicle stick, you need one of these. So essential, and used commonly throughout all of Box Peak. Great question. Hold on, sorry. Whew. Glue tape is whiteout tape? I don't think I want that. Well, maybe I do. Most of the stuff I have to unpeel and peel back down at the same time. Were Metal Gear Solid's boxes an influence for Box Peak? No, those boxes are rectangular and you can see through them. They're completely different. What is Jordy eating? Those are chicken tenders. He begins the episode eating chicken tenders. Were you getting more comfortable with depth of field in this episode? The focus in the restaurant looked really good. Yeah, I mean, that's why that shot is set up that way, is to show depth. Again, that was not the intent when I wrote the scene. It took way longer because of that. I thought all of Box Peak was just going to be 2 characters in front of blurry backgrounds like you see in episode 1. But I just like the way it looks too much. I love the way that restaurant looks, that it's all the same consistent material and, pen width, line width. Like, it just, to me, it looks so good. The food on their table all is the same line width, the trays. And so, like, I just do it because I like it, It's it takes too long, but I like it. Can you confirm he's eating chicken tenders in the first shot? Sorry, did I say nuggets? Those are tenders. He's eating chicken tenders in that first shot. They're long. He's holding them in like long. Are Mama Thirstby's chicken tenders better or worse than Shugi's, according to Jordy? They're the exact same. They're totally the same. Remember to ask your questions at Easy Allies. It makes it easier for me to pick up on them. Do you record the dialogue before shooting the scenes to know how the time and facial expression and scene changes? Yeah. So that is, I record the dialogue first. All 10 episodes of dialogue is recorded right now. I do an audio edit, which is what I'll be doing soon for episode 6, where you basically just listen to the whole episode, and it is for timing and things like that. And that's what the recording I'll play back when I'm trying to puppeteer everybody and when I'm doing the drawings. And then, yeah, sometimes the expressions don't work. Sometimes when you're like actually editing it, you're like, man, that expression worked better there. And so it changes the whole time. And you ask for new lines where something's not working in the audio edit. And then very, very rarely we'll do re-recording, like when I'm shooting and I'm like, man, this is not working. What is the significance of the one arm covering the other in the intro? It's not covering the other, it's hitting the button. The one arm is hitting the blue button to summon a box. Why is Kazomi sad looking? That's your assessment. I don't think she's sad looking. The box porter wristwatch and the ref appearing out of nowhere, are these nods to Metabots? I totally forget what the Metabots wrists look like. I feel like they're not uncommon for, like, I feel like a lot of anime just has this thing on a wrist that you like, you know what I mean? You're pressing buttons. The referee appearing out of nowhere, I don't remember. So here's the thing. I loved Metabots. And so obviously I think it affected, like, I can't say it's an intentional reference, but sure, I think Metabots is rattling around in the back of my consciousness for sure. I don't remember referees and Metabots. I remember, the yellow one, and he'd go like, that's all I remember. I remember really liking the yellow Metabot. Kazomi does not have a box porter, so yeah, you can imply that she does not play. Who is the creator of Chegduff? Look, Chegduff is a one-off joke. if you keep doing this, it's going to become a big part of Box Peak, and I will have an answer for that. Can I make that noise again? I can't. It'll kill me. Script comes before the drawings. Were there any random sketches you liked so much that you wrote a character for them or found one that would fit it? No. No. No, mostly I really stuck to the script in terms of characters. It'd be so hard for me to like draw this character I like and then like write out lines that hopefully fit into a scene. Generally I don't want to add scenes. I don't want to add any more scenes to Boxpeak. I tried to make every scene as short as it can be, right? That's like what your job as an editor. How short can I make the scene and it still work? And so that is, your goal. And so the idea of like adding stuff to it at this point is obscene to me. I won't do it. What is the hardest emotion to convey with your drawing style? Subtlety. And I really like this drawing of Amy. I like this one. This one is, here we go. And I'm not going to turn off the light again. This one is, it's like, this is when she walks in and says like, oh, we haven't seen you in a few days. It's concern. She's trying to look happy, but like you just 2 lines on the forehead. You don't want to go excessive on those. You can tell she's concerned. You can tell she's putting on a face with that scene. I really like that one. I like that expression a lot. Subtlety is so hard. Do you actively seek inspiration through watching certain things, listening to certain music, or looking at art? Not actively. I will say that the park you see here, like that cement wall with bushes on top of it, heavily inspired, and the city, you see like the city atop of it, was like in Gintama. I was, that's a show I watched as falling asleep, like not an actively watch the show, but I was like, this park's really good. It was so hard for me to figure out what a park would look like in the Box Peak world. And so, yeah, I basically, copied theirs. I don't have any park benches like they do, but like that is almost exactly what that park looks like. I mean, no, it's not even close. Their park's way better. But the idea of having so many trees like to cover the park, that was the thing that was really tricky for me. And I was looking at like Central Park. I was looking at a lot of real parks, and it was hard for me to figure out like if the camera is down here, what does it look like? And so that's why, the park is so dense with trees, despite being in the middle of the city. And you get there, you get it. You get that this park is actually in the middle of the city just by seeing some above the trees. And so, yeah, I really liked that. What was your direction for Amanda regarding Kazomi's voice? Ooh, this will be tricky because that was a long time ago. That was... She, like, nailed it. I remember, like... some of the voices we had to work on. Like, I don't think Takia was British at first. It was like, make her a little evil. I think make her a little evil. And it's like, oh, British. It's like, this is perfect. I feel like she just like got it. You know what I mean? It's like, what I like about Kazomi is that she's like cool and detached, but she's like still into it. You know what I mean? She's still down. And so it's not like she's ever judgmental of what's happening. She likes it. She just, that's just her personality, That's what I like. So she's Brad then? Maybe. Is Easy Allies canon within the Box Peak universe? It is not. Is Kazomi holding a phone or a Game Boy? That's a phone. That's not a Game Boy. Did you have the voices already recorded when you drew the expressions that go along with them? Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, you could see, that concept art I showed earlier is like, how do I make Takia express? I wanted her to have like those cool long eyebrows that get like thick at the end. But yeah, that was all recorded ahead of time for sure. How'd you do the transition in the first scene from CD's annoyed face to his smiling face when talking about the park? That one I don't even like too much. It's really simple. You do it once like this with the one character. You just go, and then you do it again with the other expression, just, and then you cut in the middle. And because basically a camera, cameras have blurring effects, and so you cut mid blur. Your mind can't see a cut mid blur most of the time. And so, yeah, your mind just excuses things, especially if the two big black eyes almost match. If you can get the eyes to match, the illusion just pops off. Like the episode 1 where Jordy's like going like this, that's also like the two drawings are extremely different, but the eyes match so well that you kind of like don't care. If his arms change length or his shirt changes length, or the dino is differently shaped. Basically, eyes are the most important thing in any drawing. And so, yeah, if those match up, you got a good transition. Intro scene a reference to Parappa? Probably. Not directly. Again, not a direct reference. Not like, yeah, I really wanted like a Parappa scene in here. But, you need a conversation. You need your characters to have a conversation. You need a place. And I thought, because we had the Shugi's joke in the last episode, why not show up at Shugi's? It's kind of fun. In Boruto, I've not seen a lot of episodes of Boruto, just the ones Huber told me to watch. They hang out at a fast food restaurant. I love it so much. It's like, yeah, kids would probably hang out here. Was Nia under 7 an inspiration? No, I don't even know Nia under 7. One of my favorites. Similar vibes. Huh. Okay. I'll try to keep that in mind. Nia under 7. What is that? Did Box Peak ever go over budget? I have a stack of receipts that I have not added up yet. Basically, the deal I made with Jones is let's finish it. Let's keep your receipts, finish it, and then once it's all done, then you can get your $2,000. I have no idea if I'm under or over at this point. I'm positive I spent a lot of money. How'd you make the box disappear after the battle? Oh, yeah, you know what? Maybe I can drop that in. That might be a little tricky. It's a cool shot though, but I can't control. Oh, it sucks. I need something better than VLC. I don't like VLC to show you clips. Again, it's about matching eyes. So what I do is I put tape on my monitor. My monitor is my old TV, 720p TV. And so I don't mind putting tape on the screen because I barely ever use that TV anymore, honestly. And so I tape where the eyes are. And so basically I had him making the drool face, right? Standing still, threw the pieces of paper at him because I needed that. Then put the box in over Jordy really slowly like this. And so it's like, boom. So you play that backwards. First you have Jordy in the box, and then you take the clip of throwing paper at him. Again, because we forgive blurs. And so you have this blur of paper, and then you have the shot of him without anything around it, and you make sure that the eyes line up for all those things. It's pretty easy. It's hard to get the things to match up, but when you're editing, that's when it's easy. That's when it's like, oh, this just works. This just functions. This is nice. Is CD off school in episode 3? Yeah, he's off school in all episodes. I don't think CD goes to school. Did you ever consider making Box Peak a Patreon-only show? No. Heck no. Patreon-only shows, they're fun to make. We got to do them low budge. You can't put too much time into Patreon only shows because the return you get on them is not huge. Yeah, I want the views, but I also want to make it exclusive to people who pay me, and so yeah, I can't imagine, like, I would not want to do that with Box Peak ever. Do you do everything by hand, or do you have some sort of Rube Goldberg setups for movements? Yeah, some of the movements are super hard, kind of like, I destroyed all of it. The stuff that I used for the restaurant scene, the Shugi scene, because those were the stupidest little contraptions. Those were just the most annoying things to get a person who is between a seat and a table in front of them to animate correctly. And so that's why you see in scenes like that, in the boardroom one last week, people aren't as animated. They don't move as distinctly as their lines might imply. Those are so hard, and I've kind of improved upon that. I'll show you some stuff in future episodes of things that I've built to make stuff like that easier going forward. I made a new contraption that's pretty sick. Haven't used it yet, so I'll save that for a future Q&A. Does anime exist in Box Peak? Does it exist in Pokemon? I don't think so. So I'm going to say no. Why are all the people in the background in the park creepily bald? Didn't want to do it. I like just imagine them as background people. Didn't want to have hair on them all. Didn't want to give them hats and stuff. It's just too much. Sometimes it's just too much. I don't want to deal with it. So they're just faces. When can we expect season 2? Months and months and months from now. 6 to 8 to 9 to 10 months from now. How long does it usually take to film and edit an episode? That's a good question. Because, like half of the budget of time goes to the drawing and coloring and cutting and gluing of characters. Like that is almost half of it. Because shooting is weird. Like episode 5 shot pretty quickly. This episode did not. Like the kitchen I think was a whole day in itself. The restaurant Shugi's was like a whole day in itself. Just like from setting it up to getting the shots right to new things take a long time. I suspect that a lot of the back 5 episodes will be like that, where it's just like, man, I have no idea how to shoot this. How do I do this? So we'll say shooting takes 3 to 6 work days, and then editing normally takes 1 or 2. No, I don't think I've ever edited in 1 because music takes like a whole day in itself. So editing normally takes 2 or 3 days, and so yeah, that's basically time allotment for that kind of thing. Do you storyboard your episodes? Yeah, so I did find a storyboard for this one. It's just, again, it's not good. And it's the last time I did it. It's basically, I can show you kind of. It's so blurry, it's so generic that like they just weren't even helpful to me anymore. This is the storyboard for episode 3. Just making sure it's not like episode 5. This is the storyboard for episode 3, and so it's like these are the shots I'm going to need to get, but like I don't know, like it just wasn't honestly too helpful for me. And so what I do now is just a list. I just make a list now. I just make I just do a long list on a piece of paper of like these are the shots I'm going to need, because I know it. You know what I mean? I know the script. I know the scenes. I know from full episodes that I've done before what I need. Full cam, it's not worth it. Currently working on episodes. Yeah, I'm going to start 6 soon, hopefully. I still have a lot of work to do today and other stuff, so maybe 6 Wednesday. But yeah. No break yet. I'd rather just have them done and then take a break. Do you have an animation hero or 2 that you hope sees Box Peak? No, I know. I think like if I did, I wouldn't want them to see Box Peak, Who was your biggest motivator to finish Box Peak? Myself. I look at myself in the mirror and I tell myself I need to finish Box Peak. It's the truth, though. Do you think the neighbors are living with the repeated sound of card cutting? Well, no, I'm not too noisy when I do this stuff. I do the voices out loud as I'm puppeteering people. Hey, Jordy, finally got some oil from, I do that. But like, I'm not too noisy. It's not a noisy thing. I just realized we're a little over an hour. Let's do 3 more. We'll do 3 more questions. We'll take 3 more. Has the positive reception at all motivated you to continue? I mean, absolutely. Heck yeah. Obviously, I would have continued if everybody hated it. But yeah, it's nice that you all love it. It's all nice that you all like this stuff. That it's still different. I think a big fear of mine, irrational fear, is that like somebody else would have made their own paper puppet show before I got Box Peak out, and it would have been way better. And so, yeah, that was always like a running fear. And so, yeah, I love the reception to Box Peak. It does make me happy. I do feel motivated to keep going, and it's nice. I wanted to do all 10 before anybody saw one, but it's nice to have the feedback kind of inform future episodes. It's something that I really like about making things in the internet era is ingesting feedback and incorporating that into a thing, because everything's connected these days. And so I don't know how your feedback will affect the back 5 episodes. It might not even be in a conscious manner, but it definitely will. The stream of comments that come in right now are at least subconsciously affecting episodes 6 through 10, whether we like it or not. How'd you pitch this project to the other allies? That is a great question. I can't even remember. Look, all the other allies want me to make Final Bossman as bad as you do. And so when I was like, I think if you watch the video, I have to say, like, it's not Final Bossman, in the first few seconds. I had to, I think, tell them that as well. Just like, hey, I've been thinking about like a kind of show that I can make. And I think like in that video, I make the 3 points of like, I want it to be a temporary project where it's not something that will go on forever. Yeah. Her mug, that's a school mug. That's not the school that she went to. I think it's implied that that is the school that Amy or Victor went to. Probably Amy. I think that's let's just say that is Amy's school's mug. College. Because like you drink out of mugs from your parents' schools. At least I do. Or had. And so basically I had to say, like, guys, I think I have an idea for the kind of series that I can do. It'll be just take a few months, but it'll be this kind of thing where I just want to take it on project to project to project, obviously having no idea at the time that Box Peak will last for years. But yeah, pitching them wasn't too hard. We all do our own things, you know what I mean? Ian says, hey, I want to make a Western musical horror half-hour episode thing. And we're just like, all right, you know what I mean? Like, none of us say no. Nobody's going to say no to anything that we suggest. So yeah, Easy Allies works pretty easily like that. Wait a minute, is this the result of classes you were taking back at GT? No, this is not. And so because the answer is so dissatisfying, that won't be the last question. Have you thought about maybe going to some animation themed podcasts to low-key promote Box Peak? Great question. Yes, previously I had. Previously I was thinking about like blowing up Box Peak, you know what I mean? Making the launch a huge event, like doing everything I can to promote it, but it's not like how I'm feeling. I like, maybe if I'm asked to be on a podcast, but I won't seek one out because it feels disingenuous to me. It feels like I'm there to promote only, and this is a podcast I wouldn't otherwise listen to. Do you know? And so, yeah, I like letting Box Peak be what it is. You know what I mean? I like not pushing. There it is. Look, he's got 2 wires. Look at that. I messed up. I don't even care to. And so yeah, I like just Box Peak fitting in its own little space. The people who like it really like it a lot. They share it with the people they like, and the more you push this kind of thing that looks like it does, the less I think you can do harm to it. You know what I mean? I think that Box Peak isn't a huge deal. Box Peak is really good for what it is. It's not. It's not like a Rooster Teeth thing. Rooster Teeth blows their stuff up. They get billboards in LA. If you put a billboard of Box Peak up in LA, I think you're doing it a disservice. Let Box Peak be what Box Peak is. Let it grow naturally or whatever. Box Peak is a cult classic. Yeah, I kind of like that. I'm way cool with that being what Box Peak is. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about promoting Box Peak in general. I know I can be doing a better job on Twitter. I should be. I think I was going to do some earlier this morning, but everything kind of came together slowly. No, not slowly. Panicked. I was just like working so hard to get everything together. That's why I forgot about the Chegduff drawing and why it's not quite prepared to show you more videos and stuff like that. So yeah, I know I could be doing better to promote Box Peak, but tweet out the episode at least. Yeah, I normally don't tweet until like 9 p.m. tonight. So hopefully, if you see the tweet before 9 p.m. Pacific time, it means I'm doing better at tweeting. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much our Q&A for this week. Next week's episode is my favorite of the bunch. It just might be. I really like next week's episode. Because like we're established. You asked like why I wanted to throw so many characters into this one. It's like just so we can like go. And so next week episode I think is like we just get to go. You know what I mean? Box Peak is rolling. Yeah, it's like watching an episode of Pokemon before Brock's joined the team. It's like, okay, all right, let's see Brock. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to episode 4. We'll do the same thing, 10 a.m. Pacific time. We'll show the episode live, and then we'll do an hour Q&A afterward. And so yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. I will hopefully be in better health. Well, let's not even say hopefully. Well, no, let's say hopefully. It could still get worse. It could still happen. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your questions constantly. I appreciate you tuning in to watch this kind of thing live. This brings me great satisfaction. I love being able to show you the episodes live. I love reading your comments live. It's funny. I mean, like you couldn't keep up with what was happening in the opening. It's like, oh, she's there. Her name is Kazomi. CD's mad. Oh, Huber is this guy. Oh, we're going back to Victor's. You know what I mean? So it's like I realize that a lot got dropped on you if you're trying to do comments live. Hopefully, if you go back and watch the episode, it flows a little easier. Yeah, we didn't talk at all about how like Tukwai did not make it into the party. And you know what? The reason why he's in the opening is just to make that joke work. You know, peek outside the box. And then, like, he's one of the 4 characters. It was just for that joke. It was just to make that which is like, no, there's already 3 of us. It was just for that. Because otherwise you wouldn't, you're like, he's not going to join the party. He's not in that 4, you know, he's not in the opening. So that is why that exists. Cool. All right, everybody. So long. He can still, no spoilers for future episodes, he can still make the party. Yeah, he absolutely can. I wanted this joke in episode 3 to work, you know? Yeah. Okay, everybody. So long. Yeah, I should stop reading you because it's interesting stuff popping in. Okay, so long. See you next Monday, hopefully. Hey, tomorrow our group stream is going to be 4 people playing Diablo 3 on Switch. We'll have a good party there. What else is happening? Friday, I'm streaming Tetris Effect. That'll be really cool. I'm looking forward to playing Tetris Effect a big time. I'll do a little bit of practice because I'm not good at it. Don't vote? No, you like vote. Absolutely, but like you don't need to need me to tell you to vote, you know. You already know. Cool. All right, everybody. I'm heading out. I'm gonna mute myself. I'm gonna wave goodbye, and then we can have a robot party and get some rest. Let's get some rest.